think it's all about really the smaller pieces of content strategy. Content strategy as a discipline is amazing. We all aspire to it, obviously, but in the higher ed landscape, I think it's really difficult to take that and say, okay, let's spend 3 weeks on a content audit and let's inventory every single web page that we've got. I think at this point, what I'm taking from a lot of the sessions I've gone to, like the stealth content strategy and even how to test your content, is there are smaller things that we can do that we can bring into our practices.
It seems like some themes that are coming out are that you don't have to do everything. You don't have to create every form of content known to humanity, that you should choose some that are appropriate for your organization and that are meaningful to you and that are exciting to you, and really focus on those, get good at those, because then what you produce will feel more meaningful and more personal.
It's the need to build community, in terms of like prospective students and even current students. So to kind of focus on that in our redesign of the site.
Some of the greatest takeaways that I have had are essentially taking the process that we already have at the University of Denver and applying some of these smaller bits to it and just strengthening it and solidifying what we're doing. If you're a content strategist, really just work with the content. Don't get involved in the details and the messiness of coding and the CMS and things like that. So it's really, I think, going to help us solidify what we're already doing there.
Well, I think one of the best session I've been to so far is Judy Radish's session about how to write compelling, vibrant content. And one thing that she said that I loved was, think first, write second. And I thought that was just a great way of expressing how you should be always thinking about your users' needs and goals before you even start writing. So that was one thing that I really enjoyed.
So much of being successful in content strategy is about understanding culture and being able to communicate with different kinds of people in language they can understand in order to further your own objectives and to help them further their objectives. And that was a big theme in a lot of the presentations that I attended.
Well, it's nice to know that higher ed isn't alone in that separation between the folks that are sort of at the front line doing all the web work and the people up at the top, the senior management, and not quite understanding how to make things more efficient. So that's good. And now I know that since we aren't so alone in higher ed, it's really incumbent upon me to just keep trying to find that line of communication at the top and tell them how things could be better.
It's hard to screw this up. It's hard to do it wrong. As long as you're trying and as long as you're moving towards one of those goals, you can't not walk away with something good.
There are a lot of us in higher ed that are really interested in focusing on content, yay, finally, and that we are getting the tools and we're finding out about the gaps and we're trying to fill those gaps, and I think that's a really great step in the right direction. So that's one of the things that I took from this conference.